So you're thinking about getting into a Murs radio? Let's talk about it. Before we get into it, I want to thank my Patreons. Without them, none of this is possible. If you want to support the channel, that's the best way you can actually help out. Consider becoming a Patreon. There's going to be a link down below. That's all I'm going to say about it. All right, here we go. What you guys should know up front is I am not an affiliate in any way, shape, or form. They simply contacted me, wanted my opinion on the radio, and make a video saying such. That is it. That there's no super Amazon link to get you to buy these things, okay? So about a month ago, I get contacted by this company called Retevis, saying, hey, we really like the way you do things. Can you do a gear review for us? I was like, sure, send me the radio. Well, what would you like? Well, I instantly thought to myself, Murs radios. And here's why. Because there's a gap between a ham radio and an FRS radio. And FRS radios are basically just toys. I'd show you one, but this is going to be about Retevis. I promised a video. They asked me for an honest review. That's exactly what I'm going to do. So you know, Murs, M-U-R-S, stands for Multi-Use Radio Service. Nothing more, nothing less. So whenever I go Murs, that's what I'm talking about. Murs. It's a Murs radio. They sent me a set of Murs radios that I actually asked for. I also asked for something else special because I was very curious. So, this is actually what they sent me. This is the Murs Rt47V. It's actually supposed to be kind of waterproof. The antenna comes disattached. I've already put it on there, obviously, because it's a toy and I've got to play with it. This is the radio. The battery comes included. And we'll talk about its power and storage capabilities. It's actually kind of a clicky, easy thing to use. Simple, one knob on the side, connector on the top here, and a couple of buttons to push here for channel and to transmit. Also in the box, a book on how to use it, a clip, which we'll talk about later, and a lanyard if you're into that. It comes in a box that looks exactly like this, with a label that looks exactly like that. Now you can order it. Okay, so without getting into the boring specs that I know you hamheads want to check twice, I know that you're interested in the testing. So what I did over a few days was I actually tested it. Yeah, I actually put some range on it and tested it. And I'm sure you want to see that. Stick around to the end and I'll show the specs on it. I'll give you my opinion of the radio, and the good and the bad stuff. And yeah, here we go. All right, so I've got my checkpoints, my radio, and a cell phone just in case. We're going to take the Jeep out and see how far we can go.
Woo, here we go. And since I know you'll still be able to hear me right now, I'm going to stop and actually make the transmissions outside of the vehicle just for a clean test. Hey guys, I am currently at 1,000 feet with some trees obstructing. Gonna continue on now. Alright, I'm currently at 3,300 feet, roughly, with some tree line obstruction, but mostly line of sight through a lot of field. And I just wanted to see how clear the radio is. I'm about 3,000 feet away, and yeah, there's a lot of trees, and there's a lot of everything kind of in the way of these little radios.
Alright guys, so now as you can see, added the new antenna. Added the big antenna that they sent me. We're going to see if this makes any real changes to this radio. Hoping it does, thinking it's going to, logically it should. Let's take a shot at it. Probably work better if I turn the radio on.
Radio 5.
Woohoo! Big antenna, here we go. 600 feet, no problem. Into the driveway. Alright, 1,000 feet straight line distance. Still no problem, open field, through some house, maybe a few woods, no big deal. 3,300 feet. Lots of trees, lots of vegetation, lots of blockages. This antenna should be going right through it, hopefully. 3,750 feet. Hopefully we've got no problems. Officially at 1 mile. And drove a little bit further just to do it. And there are power lines, so that could be sucking up the signal, but we'll find out.
Okay, so you may have noticed from the second testing that this little puppy right here, yeah, this is the larger antenna for Murs radios they sent me. I wanted to make sure that I could get better range, and as you can see by the testing, I definitely did. All right, so let's do a quick overview. The Rt47V Murs is a rechargeable radio. You can charge it using the wall, a car charger, a power bank, or even plug it into your PC. And I'm sorry, but I forgot to tell you, it actually comes with a charger that I really like because the radio just locks right in solidly. It doesn't juve around. And it does come, even though it's a USB charger, it does come with its own wall adapter. The other thing I like about it is that it's IP67 waterproof and dustproof, so it's not going to have a problem in some rain, I don't think. It also has really good sound quality. It's got a 1 to 9 grade squelch, and the squelch is an auto function, which makes it sound really, really good. I really like its battery power. It's got 1100 milliamp battery on it. It's basically a 20% power savings, and it has a 3 to 5 day standby mode. So if you leave this thing on, your battery's not going to just die after a couple hours. Okay, so I'm going to end with the good, but I'm going to start with the bad. First things first, Retevis. You got to do something about this, man. You have to watch this. I'm going to talk while you watch this. It literally took me 5 minutes to put the clip on the back of this radio. It was absolutely insane. I needed 3 hands. I figured out that I could use a pair of micro scissors to become my second set of hands, which, I mean, I have 2, but become my third set of hands while I held it. The real issue is that the way you have that spring loaded, you literally have to hold it in place under spring tension, somehow micro fit the screw into the little bitty slot underneath the clip between the spring, to Grandpa's house we go, and then get a micro screwdriver that if you don't have one, you have to go buy, and then not cross-thread the damn thing because it's just aluminum threads, and then finally get it on. But after that, it's good as gold. The next thing was the O-ring. This thing is supposed to be waterproof, or IP60-something waterproof. It likely is. I'm no waterproofing engineer, but if you send me an antenna exactly like this that has a little O-ring in it that looks exactly like this, then why isn't there an O-ring on this radio coming inside this box? I don't know if it needs it, but logic tells me that you probably should have an O-ring in this box. If that's not the case, I apologize right up front. I'll say I'm wrong, but it's kind of weird that you would have it with this, but not with this. Okay, so now for the good. Guys, this is a very small, very powerful little radio for 2 watts. There's no need to program it. There's no need to do anything. You push the simple little buttons. It has an on and off knob. It has a volume switch. It even talks to you.
Turn on the radio, 5.
Oh. So, it's simple to use. And once I put this antenna, I'll put the type someplace over here by number. Once I put it on, you saw in the test that it dramatically extended the range. And the fact that I was underneath power lines while I did it And I know this from being in the military and using a few radios, SATCOM shot across the world, that power lines like to suck up radio energy. So I know that some of it was lost, and we could have probably stretched this radio out to 1.5 miles under the conditions. Also, if you saw the satellite imagery where I showed you the measurements in range from where I was transmitting, you will see that it not only went through through flat fields, but it also went right up and over trees and right around buildings, and there was a good terrain mask to give you an idea that this was not just straight line transmissions, which for the uneducated means that the radio waves actually did what they were supposed to do. Okay, so I think that's going to be it. I do recommend this little radio if you want a radio that you do not need a license for. Hey! And if you want something with more juice than a standard FRS radio that you probably should only be using to play with your kids in the yard with, but don't want a ham license. Lastly, for all my ham heads out there, they're always talking about how you should just get your license. That way you can do anything that you want to do, which still isn't truly true if you guys know what I mean. But you say we can practice. Well, guess what? You can practice and use this one all day long without a license. Until the next time, stay safe, have a great day, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye-bye.